Welcome to the channel, everybody. Aesop Grim here, and this is the intro video for my next playthrough. It's going to take place during the months of November and December of 2024, and it is Crusader Kings 3 with the Fate of Iberia DLC. We're going to be playing in the area of Galicia. So let's look at the mods first. It's a very short list, and a couple of them don't work. Better camera zoom, clear notifications, counselor's experience trait. This one I don't think is working. I kind of play tested it a little bit and it didn't seem to be working. And it tells you here that it was for a different version. Night manager continued, more holding graphics, pedagogy enhanced. This gives you a court position that you can hire for tutor. Simple border and wasteland border color remover, which I also, it didn't look like it was working to me. So we'll hit play, and while this is coming up, I will inform you that I'm planning on doing a release schedule of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because this time of year, with Thanksgiving and Christmas happening, and the time of year, like even the weather, makes it conducive for me to be very introspective, to do a lot more Bible reading, and to really try to forge a closer relationship with the Lord. And so a Monday, Wednesday, Friday release schedule should help me accomplish that, so that I might release more often than that. But Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is what I'm trying to commit to. Now, like with everybody else, sometimes life just gets in the way. So I'm not promising upon promises that I'm going to have it up every Monday and Wednesday and Friday, but that is what I'm shooting for. So we're going to play as Count Herman Exildo Gutierrez of Santiago. He's 20 years old. We're in January of 867. Now, I've already got this set up for a start. I've done a lot of the things that you do in a Paradox game prior to hitting unpause. We didn't have to get married. We were already married. We already have an heir. But I chose... You can see we're a fortune builder, and we have the administrator lifestyle trait. And I chose wealth focus to begin out what we're focusing on education-wise. He started out with golden obligations, but we're going to go down this line right here, architect. I'm a 9, 9, 18, 3, 13 character. And we're going to try and develop this family. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that here in a little while. But initially, in 867, we own two counties. We own the county of Santiago, which also contains the famous, is it listed here? The Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela. Notice that it gives +3 tax per month, holding taxes +30%, right? And we also have the county of Tui, I think is how you would pronounce it. Nothing special here. It's just it has 3 plots that you can build in. And right now it has a small hill fort and hunters' lodges. Is that being built or... No. Yeah, it is being built. Okay, so I elected that. I built those there. Okay. Our father is Count Gutierrez Mendez of Coruna. He has this one county. We are his primary heir. We will inherit this county, or should, upon his death. We do have brothers and sisters. They should not be able to interfere with that, so we should eventually get these 3 counties. Immediate objective will be to eventually become the Duke of Galicia. Then, eventually, the Duke of Oporto as well. I don't remember if it's called the Duke of Porto or if it's called the Duke of Portugal. But then eventually to form the nation of Portugal. That's my ultimate goal. I've never done it before. I've wanted to for a long time. I'll see if I can get it done this time around. But, and let me tell you, I really thought seriously of beginning over here with this guy. Barcelona, because I want to play tall, at least initially. And this culture, the Catalan culture, it's amazing for playing tall. It has some really strong things. But my thinking is that Portugal, more than Castile's going to be martial focused. Portugal is merchant focused. That's what I think. If we can convert to Portuguese culture, which I don't really quite know how to do that yet. But I assume that once we form the nation of Portugal, once we have these lands, we will be able to do so. But that brings up another thing. In what way, in what manner am I going to accomplish that? Well, my plan here in the Iberian Peninsula, beginning in 867, in the midst of the longest unofficial crusade in human history, 750 plus years. I don't remember the exact number. I'm going to try and play very, very, very passively. It dovetails with my real world desires to be in a very calm and introspective mood for these next couple months. And it also allows me to kind of see what befalls this family without me gaming any systems or being too aggressive. Just letting this realm already is in a state of upheaval and change. Anything can happen. It's a little bit different than playing passively in the middle of West Francia, right? There's a lot going on here. And the Iberian Peninsula DLC, the Fate of Iberia, has these Iberian struggle mechanics going on that's just, it actually makes it interesting to just sit here and be passive and try to safeguard your family and develop and grow your family, right? So that's what I'm going to be aiming to do. And so initially we're going to be trying to play tall. I'm going to build up my properties. I'm going to fill in any lands that are missing. If I can get this selected, there we go. See, we have a missing spot right here. I'm going to fill these up with cities. We're going to build tall. We're going to go from plus 1.9 gold income to as much as we can get. Currently, our guy is on his way to pay homage to the King of Asturias. That brings me to the next thing. This is a real character. You can see he is 20 years old, and his liege, King Alfonso III, is 19 and is our friend. And in real life, I think they might have even been, maybe you wouldn't say best friends, but very good friends. Part of what helped this happen is that this guy and his father-in-law, so his wife's father, who is in charge of the county of Astorga, this guy, Gaton Bierzo, they together helped broker a peace deal, I guess. They helped smooth out a disagreement between the king and one of these bishops. I don't know which one. And it was a big deal. And so our guy became part of his royal court. And he fought the Moors in some battles taking place in the Reconquista, so he was a warrior. And he also was very, very loyal to the king and fought against a count in the future that stood up against the king, and the king granted him that count's lands. It was like multiple lands. So this dude rose to power as a friend that it looks like they may have grown up together even, because they're of an age, right? 20 years old, 19 years old. So I think that's an interesting dynamic that we see play out almost immediately. These two are very buddy with each other. So we're in a position of power and more importantly, safety there, where we can grow our house, right? So the idea is to build tall, to kind of let things happen passively. Maybe we'll be granted the Duchy of Galicia by the king, or maybe we'll just get enough, because once we inherit this county, I think we'll have enough to just simply create it ourselves if we pay for the title. And we'll see how things go. Once that happens, we should get Astorga and Monterrey to fall underneath us as vassals. The king will grant us that. He should. I don't think Pravia comes under us. Let's look here. County of Santiago. Duchy of Galicia. Yeah, it does not include Pravia. The Kingdom of Galicia extends down to these two counties, Porto and Braganza. It's called Portugal right now because it's owned by the Moors. So that's the overall plan. Build tall, let things happen passively, take a very relaxed playthrough, play for a lot of in-game years, let things develop slowly, look at how the game unfolds by itself without a whole lot of external input from us, and just see how the fate of Iberia unfolds before us as we try to simply be a good vassal and a good Christian within this context. And I think that could be tricky sometimes. So we'll see how it goes. This game has a habit of putting you into some tough situations. But that's the plan. And to build this family out and live through several generations and watch a lot of in-game years go by. In real life, I'll give you the history here as far as I can recall. This is off the top of my head. The Moors, I guess this would be prehistory here. I believe they came from a conflict-ridden region because they were very adept. They were blooded. They were experienced on the battlefield. And whenever they invaded the Iberian Peninsula, they just smoked the Visigoths. And the Visigoths are famous for their roles during the time of the fall of Rome. They migrated over, but it's been a while since then. And I think that they just kind of got soft, I guess. Because when the Muslims came in, they just rolled them back hard. And they rolled them back all the way up into this area right here, I think. I don't even, maybe over to halfway over into Castile. But they were bottled up, the Christians were, in these mountains. It's hard to see the mountains. Yeah, there they are. Is there a terrain? Yeah, there is a terrain. It's over here. There we go. Oh man, the map did it a little bit. I have an add-on. But you can see the mountains. So they were bottled up in here. Now, I think what happened here is that the Moors, the Muslims, felt like this land wasn't worth it. These guys were holed up in here. They had good defenses. You're fighting in the mountains, and you can't plant in mountains, right? So they just didn't see it as worth it, and their eyes turned over here to what was north of the Pyrenees Mountains. And they came in here, and they were initially successful. They pushed all the way into Toulouse. But it was right here that Charles the Hammer Martel just slammed the door on them. These guys here, what were they called? The Franks. These were not the Visigoths. Much more multitudinous, a lot more numbers, bloodied. They were blooded as well. They had seen plenty of combat. They were veterans. They knew that they had their own set of tactics, shield walls, stayed on top of hills and defended. They knocked the snot out of the Muslims, and it sent the Muslims back this way. Well, by that time, the Asturians had been conducting rapid-fire mounted raids, and they were starting to take territory. Now, right here, I don't have a lot of details for you. That's a really top-down, like 10,000-foot top-down look. But that was the beginning of the Reconquista, and it goes on for 750-plus years. So for us as Galicians, this is the last thing I'll show you. You can see that we're spiritual. All Galician characters gain extra piety. We get extra control growth. While some cultures turn to war and others to worldly knowledge, this culture places its trust in the only constant throughout its history, the divine. Spirituality is the only way forward in a harsh and uncaring world. Now, here's our 4 tenets, our 4 pillars, basically. That's funny because that's actually a Muslim term, the pillars, right? I don't remember what number they have. I think it's 7, but I can't recall. But they do have the pillars. Anyway, we have monastic communities. The temperate trait is more common. Well, that's good because I'm wanting to play tall, and temperate helps with economy. The temperate traits have additional bonuses. The monk traits have additional bonuses. Characters of this culture are more likely to accept taking the vows, especially your underage children. That can become very beneficial to us down the line. The monastery's line of buildings can be built 1 era early, and they also provide additional learning bonuses, and learning helps with development, and development helps with economy, with income. We are Highland warriors, so we do good in rough terrain. We get additional supply limit and levy size in hills, and reduced danger from hills as well. We're also dexterous fishermen, so we get reduced danger from coastal sea dangers. This will help us when we go on pilgrimages. We get advantages to our army whenever we're fighting in coastal areas, and we get plus 50% supply capacity, which will help us to maintain large armies on coastal lands. Also, the trade port line of buildings provide additional bonuses to stationed men-at-arms. That should be a big help. And then over here, this will allow us to get strong hooks on our friends that, because I have the golden obligations trait, will help me get money, but it comes at a cost. So if I use it, not all the time, but if I use it against a really good friend like the king, I get a whole bunch of stress. So managing stress is going to be a constant back and forth. But I did take the wealth focus. This character started out with the golden obligations trait, but we're going to be going down the architect line. Then we'll probably move into learning, and if our character is still alive, then we'll move into diplomacy. That's the plan. Maybe I'll go into martial, because I might want to role play. The martial was a big deal during this time period. So if we look, I am, where does it say it? Cultural head U. So we are the cultural head. That means I get to pick what technology that we're researching. I am researching public works. Because why? Because it raises existing development penalty to 20 development. And what did I say earlier? Development feeds income. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get a lot of income. That's the whole idea about playing tall. A lot of income out of a relatively small area of land. And after we discover that, and that's going to take us about 53 years, I'm probably going to go to barracks, because this is keeping us at level 2 when it comes to the keeps. I need to have this researched in order to go past level 2. So that'll be next. So I hope that does a good job of giving you a snapshot of what I'm planning on doing, what our setup is, what our character looks like, and how I'm planning on doing it, what style we're going to employ, and that the focus is probably forming the nation of Portugal. But big emphasis on House Menendez. It's growing our house. It's getting into those areas where you can I forget what it's called, guys, but you can select abilities for your house. And gaining more and more glory, becoming more and more well-known around the world, getting marriages that tie us into royal families all over Europe, stuff like that. It's the development of this house. That's what I'm trying to make happen for sure. That probably is actually number 1 priority. Forming Portugal is a means of securing this house's future, you know. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up right there. Again, I'm Aesop Grimm. Thank you for coming by the channel. I hope you like what you saw. More importantly, I hope all is well in your neck of the woods, and I'll see you in the next episode where this story begins.